Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to be analyzing a song by the artist rapper Ka called Sins of the Father off of the album Descendants of Cain. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Ka, he's a more of an underground rapper from Brownsville, New York, and he has been one of my favorite artists for the last, I want to say, 5 to 6 years. It was about that time ago when I kind of got into him. I really, really enjoy his music simply for the fact that he is an absolute poet. I think in the rap hip hop scene right now, there's not many artists I think that write more intriguing, deep, philosophical in some ways lyrics that I think are worth digging deep into and analyzing. So today I'm going to break down one of his songs. I'm probably going to do a couple more this week, maybe two more, and then I'll leave it to you guys. If you guys want me to do the rest of the album or any other songs by this artist, I would gladly cover them because I think Ka is one of the deepest writers out there in the game right now. But if there's any other hip hop artists that you want me to cover, like MF Doom, Billy Woods, or maybe some more mainstream people like Drake or Lil Wayne, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I kind of like doing the more underground hip hop music just because that's just kind of my taste, and I like to put that out there and turn people on to new music. But I'm willing to cover anything in the hip hop genre or in music in general. I mean, I listen to a lot of music genres, um, a lot of music genres. So I'm really kind of open to covering any kinds of music if you guys want to leave any suggestions in the comments. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into this song. It's an incredibly deep song, so I want to kind of break it down bar by bar and try to give you guys my thoughts and some level of deeper analysis if I'm capable of that. So Sins of the Father is the name of this song. So, Descendants of Cain, this whole album has a lot of biblical references, especially to the Cain and Abel story. So, we'll see echoes of that throughout the lyrics as we go through. The song actually starts with a small sample from the 1956 version of the Ten Commandments. It reads, "These are the children of misery, the afflicted, the hopeless, the oppressed." So obviously that speaks to the downtrodden, the stepped on, the oppressed. It says it right there, and you could take that and you could put that on. You can put that on a lot of different things. I mean, you could put that on the Jews, obviously. You could put that on black people, especially. I think Ka is probably referencing that in this case, that, these kind of messages of the downtrodden, the afflicted, the oppressed in the biblical stories, talking more so about the Jews, can be kind of pulled into today's age and used to describe black communities that are not doing the greatest, like Brownsville. For those of you who don't know, Brownsville is one of the roughest neighborhoods in the United States, similar to Compton and how dangerous it can be. And it is a primarily black neighborhood. So as much as I want to stay away from talks of race, it's going to be hard to dodge them when we're analyzing a hip hop artist's lyrics, right? So verse 1 starts with, "Still built my ark in the face of ridicule." So starts right off with a Bible reference. He still is building his ark in the face of ridicule. So what I get from that is, even though people around you might be making fun of you, they might not understand your vision, they might be trying to pull you down, you still have to build what you know you have to build anyways. In the story of Noah, it's a message that comes from God. I know not all of my viewers might believe in a God, but it's a message that comes from God to him. So it's an internal message that he knows he needs to do. In the story of Noah, it's build an ark to save himself from the destruction of the planet. Not everything in life has to be that cataclysmic. Your ark can be whatever you're called to do, whether that's doing music, pursuing a degree, whatever your true passion might be. That would be the ark that you have to build in life. So Ka is saying here that he still built his ark in the face of ridicule. He still pursued what he needed to pursue, even though people around him were ridiculing him. So it's a great line, a lot of wisdom there that people should take. Pursue your passions, build what you know that you have to build. Don't let anybody else around you influence that. Next line is, "The waste left a bad taste. When the bitter duel. So what I got from this one is when the bitter duel. So when people that are bitter, mad, angry, those are emotions of the moment. When those people duel, in the modern sense, that usually happens with guns. They die, and that's where the waste left a bad taste. So he's saying that, like, seeing bitter people in his community, people that are upset, duel it out and kill each other, that waste of life, those dead bodies in the street, are leaving a bad taste in his mouth. And that sucks. That's not something that I have to live with, thank God. But yeah, that's just a bar that just paints a picture, and we're just 2 bars into the song. Was fuming, running on E, ain't have a bit of fuel. It's another just cool rhyme scheme there, but he's saying, like, he was running around with no fuel, probably, obviously, talking about food, so starving out in the streets, running around. Here repair was past a fair, had to get a tool. So he's saying that he was too far gone to repair himself, so he had to get a tool, which is, for any of you who don't know, is a weapon in this case. So he's saying, like, he was too far gone, maybe he was too hungry, not the chance to repair himself is gone. It's time to get a weapon, time to strap up, time to protect yourself and go and get what you need. Saw too much to have blind faith. Another great line. I could break this line down for a long time, but seeing too much to have blind faith, I think this is just something that comes with experience. As a kid, I was pretty atheistic, and I didn't understand when old people would be like, you'll see things in your life, you'll experience things in your life where you will have no choice but to believe in God. And I'm still on that journey myself. I don't want to speak too much on my personal religious beliefs in this video, but I never really understood that as a kid. I'm like, I feel like I have it figured out. Like, I know science pretty well. I can disprove a lot of the things in the Bible. Like, what does this mean? But yeah, sometimes in life there's a lot of truth to this line, that sometimes you see too much to have no faith at all, or to have blind faith, which is what he's referencing here, to have this kind of not deep, this shallow kind of faith that sometimes you see in religion. It does leave a bad taste in people who are more atheistic's mouth, and it also leaves a bad taste in those who truly believe. It leaves a bad taste in their mouth too. Those people who believe something deeply, when they see other people kind of, I don't want to say it's like sacrilegious, but it's like they're not taking it as seriously as it's meant to be taken, that can leave a bad taste in your mouth. So there's a lot of things going on with this line. I'm going to leave it at that. Chow was laced with sour grapes. This ain't a divine place. Again, a bit of a complicated line, but I think what this means is, like, his food wasn't always great. I don't know if it was, like, actually poisoned, but sour grapes, I think this is kind of referencing, like, moldy food, old food. He wasn't living in a divine place, so he's not living in a palace. He's not living lavishly. He's living in Brownsville, where sometimes you're going to have to eat moldy bread just to get by. Long legs of stagnation made the mind race. I like this line too. So long lapses of not doing anything in your life will make your mind race. This is actually, like, what anxiety is, what depression is. Not to, like, brush it to the side. I think it's something that, I don't want to say all of us need to go through, but it is a human experience that we need to push through, because these long legs of stagnation, when nothing's going good in your life, that's when you're going to be depressed. And then you think you're depressed. Like, you think, like, depression is bringing this stuff in, but it's a circle. It's a circle. I don't want to touch too much on this, because I'm going to make this video too long, but long bouts of stagnation made the mind race. So you're going to get anxious if you're sitting around not doing anything, not progressing anywhere in any sense. Being lost like this have you in a confined space. So he's speaking on depression again. So when you're lost, you don't have anything going forward, nothing's moving. You could feel like you're in a confined space. You can feel like the walls are closing in, everything's collapsing on you. This is what people who are suffering with terrible bouts of depression often say. It feels like everything's collapsing in on me. So he's touching on that there. Of course, for my life to alter, had to sacrifice. So he's coming a little bit to religion here with the sacrifice motif. But in order to alter his life, he had to make a sacrifice. Now, what this sacrifice is to you guys, it could be, I don't know. It's whatever it is in your life. Sometimes it's alcohol for some people. Sometimes they got to sacrifice going out drinking on the weekends to really get their life together. Sometimes they got to sacrifice smoking. Sometimes it's things that aren't so easily defined as addictions like that. Sometimes it's a personality trait or something that you're doing every day, something that you're saying every day to people that's making everything worse. Everybody has to look into their own selves and figure out what it is inside them that they need to sacrifice to make their lives better. So, brilliant line. Days we was forced to fast, prayed for rapid nights. This is a cool line because he's talking about like days where he was forced to fast, which is basically days where he was so hungry he couldn't eat. They prayed for rapid nights, so he's praying for the night to go by fast. I don't know if any of you guys have been hungry, like actually hungry. Myself, the longest I've gone without food is like 24 hours, so I'm living pretty good. But even those 24 hours, those times where I have done 24-hour fasts, it seems like time at night goes by slow. It feels like that. So I can see where that comes from. People starving or struggling with starvation. You know, maybe those nights are really long. It makes you think. And then praying for rapid nights. Awesome line. Truthfully, won't see the future moving with parasites. Love this line too. So you won't see the future if you're moving with parasites. Things that are leeching onto you, sucking from you and not giving anything back. Obviously, this is in reference to friends and people around you. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are taking from you, taking, and they're not giving anything back to you, they're not pushing you up, they're just pulling you down, you're never going to see your future. You're never going to tap your potential because you're being pulled down by everybody in your social circle. And sometimes that means getting rid of friends, which can be incredibly tough. I've had to do that before. I'm sure many of you guys have had to cut people off before. But sometimes that also means cutting off family, which is even tougher because you're blood related. They're often, your emergency contacts and whatnot. And it's tougher to cut off family, but sometimes that's necessary to grow and to see your future, to realize your potential. You have to cut off the parasites. And that's not, you don't do that like haphazardly. You don't want to be like, oh, my mom doesn't believe in my dreams, so she's a parasite. It's like, no, there's probably some balancing act that needs to be done there, and she might be right about some things, and it's all circumstantial, obviously, but very interesting line. If mentors ain't dispensed with war, you got bad advice. This is another interesting line that I didn't even think about until I really dove into this song. So if your mentors in life haven't dispensed with war, haven't dispensed with chasing war, warmongering, or just in personal situations like combative nature, wanting to fight people all the time, these sorts of things, if your mentors haven't dispensed with that, with the frivolous, non-necessary violence of the world, if they haven't, pushed that out and said, that's all bad, let's not do that, then you're probably not getting advice from somebody that you should be getting advice from. There's just a good line of wisdom there. Obviously, that's not always the case, but for the most part, it is. You're going to find it hard to find good advice anywhere, let alone from somebody who revels in war and combat and violence. They say, rest in peace, the only peaceful gathering. They say, rest in peace, the only peaceful gathering. This one's tough. I think it means you say rest in peace, but the people who are resting in peace, the people who are dead, aren't resting in peace. The only peaceful gathering, the people around them who are saying rest in peace, those are the peaceful ones. I don't know. That one's a bit tougher. If I thought about it for a while, I could probably figure it out. But I'm going to leave that one to you guys. If you guys know or have any other ideas on what that line can mean, let me know in the comments. I'm going to move on. Another track and field leading with the javelin was only scheming because couldn't reason with the abdomen. Okay, that's the second part I like. The javelin I don't entirely get, but was only scheming because couldn't reason with the abdomen. So So he was only scheming, so making plans of probably stealing, hurting people, whatever's necessary. The only reason why he was doing that is because he couldn't reason with his abdomen. So he couldn't talk down his hunger. Some of you might know this, but when you're really hungry, you almost become the spirit of hunger. The only thing on your mind, the only thing that is, it's not only that it's the only thing on your mind, it's the only thing that's you. The only thing you are is the hunger. The only thing you see is food. So that's something to consider when like people are killing and robbing and stuff. Like, is it obviously it's sinful behavior, but where is it coming from? Is it coming from because they're in such a primal state of hunger that they can't even make reason of what they're doing? I don't know. I'll leave that at that. I don't want to put out any dangerous ideas, but still begged them all, Virgin Mary to Mary Magdalene. Cool rhyme and interesting way of comparing the Virgin Mary, virgin, to Mary Magdalene, who, if you guys don't know, in the Bible was a prostitute. So he begged them all. He had everyone from virgins to prostitutes. This line, I mean, like, it's cool. Like, for most rappers, this would be a great line, but for Ka, it's kind of one of the more underwhelming lines of the song. They used to call us deviants, but if they was feeding us, might have had obedience. Another one that kind of calls back to the couldn't reason with the abdomen. They used to call us deviants. So obviously this is in reference to people calling just people in Brownsville, people in Compton, deviant, malicious, horrible people. But if they were getting fed, maybe they would have had obedience. This is calling back to the thing that I just said. Like, maybe these people that are robbing, killing, and stealing, like, how much of that is them and how much of that is their hunger? This is what Ka's touching on again. So it's an interesting thing to think about. My stock was only as good as my ingredients. Love this line. I'd love to get this printed out on a shirt. So, my stock was only as good as my ingredients. So you're only going to be as good as what you're putting inside of yourself. This is not just food. Obviously, that's a big thing, too. Like, you want to put good food in you so you can live longer, so you can do anything physically better. It's better to put good food inside of you, but also knowledge, also information. You want to put good information into you so that because you are what you eat, but you're also what you read. You're also what you consume information-wise. So your stock can only be as good as the ingredients you put in. That's what Ka's touching on here, and that's very, very true. Sometimes I see people just consume horrible content all the time, and it's not like a subjective versus objective thing. It's just like what they're consuming is not deep. There's no depth to it. There's nothing that you can really get out of it. Now, obviously, you can learn something from everything, but there's different depths and levels to that, right? So that goes back into subjective versus objective art, and that's a long, never-ending conversation. The system only leaned on us, never showed us lenience. I like that bar, too. Not touching on something that I can really relate to, but the system only leaned on us, never showed us lenience. Yeah, that's speaking on black issues that I can't really speak too much to. I mean, I think it's pretty self-evident what he's trying to say there, but yeah, that ends his verse. There's another verse in the song by Rock Marciano, another fantastic, underrated underground rapper that you guys should go check out. I'm not going to cover his verse today just because I feel like I've made this video too long anyways. But yeah, that's Sins of the Father by Ka. Very, very deep song. I recommend it to anybody. If you guys haven't heard the song yet, go listen to it. I will say Ka is a little monotone in his delivery. He's not like a Kendrick Lamar who's playing with a ton of different voices and flows and changing things up all the time. He's pretty strict to the way he raps, and it can be boring for some people. Some people don't like the instrumentals because they're very jagged and not super accessible. They're not as easy on the ears as maybe a Drake beat might be, but I think it's really cool what he's able to pull off with his poetry and his choice of samples too. He uses a lot of cool samples. He's sampled some of my favorite TV shows like The Wire. He sampled Sherlock Holmes in one of his old albums, like the Game of Shadows, I believe, was the second movie. Anyways, he does a lot of cool stuff artistically, so go check out his music. And yeah, I think I'm gonna review or analyze. I mean, I'm gonna analyze Every Now and Then, and I just did Sins of the Father. What was the other one I was gonna do? There's one more off of this album I'll do this week, and then I might finish the rest of the album if you guys really want it, or I might go and cover some of his other songs or any other artists. My Brother's Keeper, that was the other one. But yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. If you guys like this kind of video, if you guys like me kind of analyzing more music, please let me know with a like and subscribe and share this video. It helps let me know that you guys want more of these videos, so please, that helps a lot. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, it means a lot. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and peace.